Welcome back to the Voices for Blogging podcast, where we have faces for radio and voices for blogging. You can find us on the Podbean app, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you find your favorite podcasts. As always, we have our crew of three. We have the Bumblebee in Arizona. And now speaking to you permanently, semi-permanently, from Las Vegas, Nevada, we have Royce. And of course, in Honolulu, Hawaii, you have me, Steve. Holy cow, guys, it's been a long time. There's a lot has happened since we recorded.
What has it been, like 11 months?
Something like that. I think we're on a
Almost a year.
once a year average.
Yeah.
Bumble got his
We did one in-
dirty bird flag waving back there. Appropriately, it's white. So maybe, it's waving the white flag, putting Michael Penix Jr. in the game to start the game.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Putting his head in a box.
Put his hand in a box. Oh, God. I don't know what to do. I just cannot. But a lot's happened.
Why'd you have to bring that up?
A lot's happened. A lot of things happen, and one of the things we talk about all the time, crypto market will get there at all-time highs in Bitcoin, Ethereum, touching 4,000 and going past it a couple times in the last week. A lot of stuff happening in the last 48 hours in that market. Things happening in pro sports that we're all interested in. Bumble took a little trip in the health world with some of his adventures, which maybe we'll talk about. But anyway, let's start from what's probably the most popular thing to talk about on this show. And thank you,
Powell rugging us.
Thank you for everyone that listens from different places around the world and throughout the U.S. But Royce, I'm going to give the floor to you, and let's talk about the crypto market and its crazy ride in the last 2 weeks, and then especially the last 48 hours. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, really, it was all about the Trump victory. That's the Trump trade. That's what spurred all of this rise in not only crypto, but just in assets in general. It's been this huge rally over the last month now since he won the election, with Bitcoin rising to all-time highs. I think it touched 107, I want to say.
108.
108, wow. 108K, and, Ethereum was up to 4K. All of the assets across the board in crypto have gone up. There's been tons of activity in meme coins, like what was it, unicorn fart token or whatever. I don't even know, man. I haven't been keeping up with that stuff, but I've had friends that have been. And then all leading up to yesterday when Jerome Powell rugged us, and now back to sad
So
times.
let's talk about that a little bit, because you and I were texting about that, and I watch CNBC a lot, and it's fascinating to me that when he made the statements he made and what the Fed did with interest rates, cutting another quarter point, and the things they talked about, essentially saying slowing pace of cuts moving forward, but the job market is stable. It's not causing inflation. Inflation is a little bit stubborn, but it's probably something that's going to be they can keep under control. But essentially, the slowing down of how soon we get the next rate cut, I kind of feel like they've been telegraphing this for a while. The 10-year bond has been going up when they cut rates, which is a little backwards. So it's indicating that the economy is probably pretty good, and we might not need any more rate cuts for at least the near term. So it's a little surprising to me. It almost feels like it was just an excuse for the market just to sell off. Because when you look at Bitcoin, it went down almost perfectly 10% to today, where it bounced a couple times off of the high 95,000s. So I've been nibbling along the way, full disclosure. And again, we have to say this. Everything we say we're doing with the financial markets, it's not financial advice. We're not telling you guys to do anything, just sharing kind of where we are. But it really just feels like this is a good time to sell off before we have a year-end rally and move into, Royce, exactly what you're talking about, which is a lot of things that people are looking forward to with Trump taking office next month.
Yep. Well, I do think the one biggest change, I think, and why I think people, or just the market, was spooked in general, was that I think the tone of the tone of, not the meeting, but like his press conference was a little more hawkish than he's been, in fact, the last, I think, two conferences. I think that's what caught people off guard too as well. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, part of it is probably they're looking for a reason to sell. I mean, the markets run up.
Insanely.
I mean, crypto's run up. The markets run up something like 30-40% in the last month.
Bitcoin was up 45%.
That's pretty crazy.
Little over a month.
You know, that is pretty crazy, and it seems like it would be a good time to take some money off the table. I think you're right. I mean, I think anybody's looking for a reason, and you know, they're going to read into what they read into, and you know, here we are. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, and it's not like it cratered like, you know, Bitcoin's down like 30%, 40%, like
Correct.
it has. There's been times like that in the past where crypto's just
Correct.
gone in the toilet, but we haven't got there yet. So, and I don't think we will.
Right. And we'll see what the bounce looks like in the next 24 to 48 hours. I expect to see a little bit of a tick up. It's like I said, a couple times just in the last couple hours, it's bounced off the same low. It looks like an asset that's looking for a bottom so it can continue its climb back up. You know, and Wall Street being, you know, I saw an article a couple days ago that the ETFs on Wall Street, the ones that hold Bitcoin, that have become the biggest holders of Bitcoin in the world, because the ETFs have become so big because everyone's buying the ETFs, myself included, for Bitcoin. So that makes the managers and the people holding these funds buy more Bitcoin and hold it in custody. And that, you know, that mass participation, especially with the Bitcoin ETFs getting options, which is what I've been doing, trading through options, which has been fun. It's been great, and of course, it is easy when something goes up 45% in almost a month, which is ridiculous. You know, it's one of those things where there's so much participation. The one thing Powell did say, and that we should elaborate a little bit on, is Trump keeps talking about how he wants the U.S. to be the biggest holder of a Bitcoin reserve, which is definitely what's been pushing the market also, if they're thinking the U.S. government is going to come in and buy. Powell did say in his Q&A that as the laws play out right now, the U.S. government cannot create a Bitcoin reserve. So some of the timing in which, if they make this happen and change laws and this and that, the timing of whenever this is that the U.S. will buy this Bitcoin to put in reserve might take a little while.
Yeah, it might take a little while. I mean, I definitely think there's two things that are going to, you know, play out over the next 4 years in this new administration. You know, one of them is that, yes, with these ETFs, it's making it a lot easier for anybody to really buy into crypto, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or, you know, any new ETF that gets approved going forward. You don't have to custody it yourself. You don't have to have your own wallet. Mm-hmm. There's less risk of you getting hacked and, you know, losing your money. So I think that's important. And the second thing is really this regulatory clarity that this new administration is talking about bringing. Whereas for the past, you know, when did Bitcoin start? Like 2009? Like for the past 15 years, it's kind of been this overhang over the entire industry because there has been no clarity. And you don't know when SEC is going to come after you. And that's what's happened to a lot of these companies in the space, especially in the US, you know, and even abroad, actually. You've had, you know, like the FTXs, but you got the Coinbases, you got the Krakens, you know, you have the Bitrexes. And all of them, at some point, face some kind of scrutiny, some kind of action from the SEC to go after them. And there's been a lot of projects that have tried to, you know, work with the SEC on these things, but could never get any clarity on what they were doing right, what they were doing wrong, what they needed to do to comply. And so I think getting clarity in that area is really going to help the industry in general in the US, because it's not a guessing game anymore. And you could argue too that a lot of the things that the SEC did, that they're supposed to protect investors, you know, FTX, SBF had a relationship with a lot of members of Congress and, you know, the SEC, and that didn't really work out so well. So I don't know if they helped or hurt overall, but you know, I think going forward, having clarity is really going to help the industry.
I mean, that was one of the biggest misconceptions. I think I talked to people about these things, and you know, the people that haven't really bought into crypto being something that has any legitimacy, they'll like to say like, well, you know, crypto people don't want regulation. I'm like, no, they just want clarity. They just want the rules of the game to be set. and it's this misnomer that that crypto is just this thing that just has no value, has no, what do you say, has no utility and what have you. Says, I don't know. I know a lot of people that have cashed in Bitcoin and bought houses and condos and those type of things. So I don't know. It has some kind of utility. And at some point in time, like, can it? And I was explaining this at my trip. I had this trip with my family and family friends. I said, when you look at Bitcoin, it's very much this supply and demand game. Like, it has a pretty big supply and demand ratio going on, where the supply event is limited and the supply is finite and the demand is strong. So yeah, it goes up in value. So it always have its haters, and it's interesting though, for almost anything, any kind of asset, you do need both sides of the equation to let it rise. Like, it's like sign of a top in a market is when everybody's on board and everyone's moving in the same direction. That's usually when you got to sell stuff. Yeah. Right? But when you got the opposing side that's always still there, that actually helps nudge the value a little bit. Just because there's yin and the yang kind of going on. But it's fascinating. You and I talk a lot about Doge, and at some point, is it a wise thing just to put a flyer out and buy some Dogecoin? Just because at some point in time, Elon Musk might do something where Doge will become very significant and have utility. Like, what if he does something like within the Tesla ecosystem that you have to use Dogecoin to pay for upgrades, pay for a car, whatever, those kind of things,
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to pump Dogecoin over the next 4 years, right? With have that Doge part of the administration, right. Department of Government Efficiency. Right. You can't tell me they're not going to pump it. Can't help me. But at
31 cents right now, I just got a notification. It's down to 31 cents. Like, at some point, even if you threw $1,000 at 31 cents, I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks, how could it not be higher in 2 years, let alone by the end of 2025?
Yeah. But what you really need to invest in is unicorn fart dust.
Wow.
Telling you, man.
Speaking of that.
24 hours, it's up 1,000%.
Yep.
And I'm not even talking about the strategic fart reserve, which is up 7,000%.
Well, and let's be honest. Like, Bumble, I've experienced enough of Bumble's fart dust, to know that it's one of those things that we all should invest in.
I'm surprised he hasn't.
But yeah, I mean, let's button this thing up. Like, Royce, what do you see happening in the next couple months in crypto?
A couple months. Who knows? Like, Trump's coming in, but I think as far as I'm concerned, the play over the next 4 years is really kind of the things that we're talking about. More people coming in, more clarity on regulations. Especially specifically in the crypto market. And I think, based on what he's talking about as far as policies, I mean, it should be good for business.
It would certainly seem so, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Congress will get in the way of some of the things he's going to do. And, SEC chair, very pro crypto. You look at these ETFs. Like, I can't see anybody doing something to endanger all the money that's in these ETFs at this point in time. There's so much participation, wide-ranging participation. Like, that Ethereum ETFs are coming. And when that comes, I mean, not the ETFs, but the options for those ETFs, because we already have those ETFs. When the options come for that, Bitcoin saw a spike in its price once those ETFs for Bitcoin could trade in options. I would suspect that once Trump is in office, Ethereum will have that same approval and a similar spike in the price of Ethereum, because you give someone a reason to put less down to make more money on something. Less risk, more reward. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it seems like a pretty good equation when all the wins seem to be behind you. That you got a really good tailwind behind you for at least the three major cryptos. So, it would seem like a positive space, and it would seem that pullbacks are buying opportunities.
Yeah. Well, I think over the next 4 years, it's going to be a good opportunity to make
Yeah.
money.
So,
Um, and that's why I think Bumble, we should buy all the shoes that we can right now.
You ain't gotta tell me twice.
for someone like you, Bumble, that's not in the market, does any of that what happened in the last 2 3 months where the market just went bonkers? Any of that entice you or make you more interested in putting money into this space?
To be honest, not really, because I don't know enough to want to do it and trust my money in it at this juncture because it's so many different options and you hear this and that about so many different coins and whatnot. So it's overwhelming, you know.
All you needed to
So
do was get into a Hawk Tuah coin.
Before she
man,
dumped it?
I heard about that one.
Yeah. Apparently,
Yeah.
she hasn't been
Uh,
around in the last 2 weeks either
Uh,
since it got
out
rugged.
of the country.
I mean, maybe.
She's in
that's
Bermuda, the
crazy.
Bahamas,
Took her
wherever.
15 minutes
Yeah.
of fame and made her. I don't even know how much they made, dude.
Yeah. I think she just probably got taken advantage of,
I
man,
think so.
for
I think so
sure.
too.
Yeah.
I think.
Some
Mm-hmm.
someone used her, her popularity and
Yep.
was just like, you could do
Yep.
this, you could do that.
And
There's
she
nothing
got a
wrong with
piece of
it.
the
Yeah.
pie, but somebody else got a much bigger
So,
piece of that pie.
I think she. Yeah. I think she got a
Pun
small. If
intended.
yeah.
anything, she got small.
Um, but on the other hand, though, Bumble, like, do you actively manage your own investments, like stocks, mutual funds, what have you?
Nope. Got it in my little 401k, and then every now and again, we'll talk
Yep.
to our little financial
Yep.
advisor who's in
Yep.
Hawaii, and
Yep.
then that's
Nice.
about it.
Well, the biggest investment he has is he's sitting
Look at
in
that
it.
wall behind him. That wall of shoes.
Well, I wasn't talking about that, but I was talking. But that
Oh,
too.
what are you talking about? We're not talking about his looks, are we? You
I
know
am pretty
that.
sexy.
That's
I'm
the
just
first thing.
saying.
I was talking about his house.
That's the first thing I said when Royce made a comment about how clear my camera is. I said, now you can see how beautiful I am. You know,
I turned it off.
it was too much. It was too much to take in. I get it.
Too much to
I
handle.
get it. It was too powerful. I got you.
You
Oh no,
know,
for
it'd be
sure.
like that
When
sometimes
you
for
come
sure.
pick me up in my house on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, sometimes just like that. Sometimes it wasn't the glare of the
Yep.
sun that made me look down. What are we talking about? Good lord.
I don't know.
I
This
have no
conversation
idea.
took a dark turn.
Well,
It,
was it
it
why
took a
dark turn?
left
Because it's
turn
Bumble we're
big
talking about?
time.
How dare you? How dare you, Royce?
Maybe. It might be. I know exactly what Royce is doing right now. He's marking the
Scrub.
time.
Scrub.
And
And that was 21.
21-10. Scrub at least 10 seconds off that shit.
oh man,
Bubba, what's new in your world,
That's
man?
hilarious. New in my world. Uh,
Ooh,
Nothing.
that's
We did
new.
a little bit of traveling. That's about it, to be honest. I just got finished with school, so I'm on
Oh,
what is that, winter
okay.
break now. So now just chilling, get ready for Christmas and New Year's, and probably go get some fireworks
That's right.
tomorrow or
Light
the
up
day
the
after.
neighborhood.
So that's about it.
nice.
Always piss off
You
some
gonna put some
people,
time in at Nike?
Not during this break. Probably during summertime. Because during this time they try and work you, and it's like got to sit there and grade and do all this, and then they're like, by the way, we need you to work 35 more hours, and I'm like,
Well,
nah,
and
I'm good.
and on top of that, we were
So
talking about off
not worth
camera.
it.
We were talking about shoes and that shoe market. What were you saying about the shoe market and how things are going with that?
Well, the shoe market is it's like a little drought right now. I mean, you can still like if you're one of those resellers or whatever, you can buy a pair and still make a lot of money on certain shoes. But it has taken a dip where popular shoes that used to be 300 $400, they're still going for like $220 now. Some of them are going for like 180. So like Dunks for instance, those you used to be able to not get a pair for less than $300. And now you can get a pair of what is those, the pandas, for less than $80. It's
Damn.
crazy. So that just tells you how the market is on certain pairs of shoes and things of that nature, where people were willing to pay all of that money, but now it kind of dried up. So you got to see all the resellers start to, I guess, pivot and figure out how they're going to make their money. It's more so um, quantity, or as we said earlier, volume, more than the hot ticket items or whatever the case may be now. So that's about it. I mean, yeah. Plus, I think the shoe companies finally was just like, you know what? Why do we keep putting limits on the amount of shoes that we buy if people want these shoes and we sell them, and then all of a sudden we only make a certain amount, and then all these resellers are making all of this money. Why not just flood the market and
Right,
kill
because
their
it's
whole
that thing,
vibe?
right? Why
So,
are we caring so much about the secondary market on this stuff? Why don't we just make the money?
yeah.
You know?
So, yep. And that's pretty much what they did with the Dunks and with the Jordans and things of that nature. So they just started releasing way more shoes, and now everybody and their mama can hit on the sneakers app, and you're not making as much money, it's not as exclusive, and those backdoor deals are now like kind of
Yep.
kicking people in the
Yep.
balls because they spent all that money on those shoes, and now they're sitting on all those shoes that everybody already has. So
I mean, we're talking about
yeah.
also how I've seen that in the card market. You know, the graded baseball, football, basketball card market. You know, it never, even though crypto has at an all time high, or was as of 3 days ago. Um, the shoe market never followed. I mean, the shoe market and the card market never followed the stock market. And typically, when the stock market and the crypto market now, when they start climbing, like things tend to follow because people have excess cash, people have money. You know, like hey, let's throw it
Hmm.
on something crazy. They say, you know what? Let's buy 10 pairs of like the most expensive shoes and sell it. Try to flip it, right?
Hey, but if you got a hookup for those Adidas shoes, give me the Ant ones, dude. The Stormtroopers, size 9, 9.5.
You don't
Royce,
do
you should know
Adidas.
me by now. I
I
don't do
know, but
Adidas,
doesn't
bro.
doesn't Hawaii have a Adidas thing?
UH?
Yeah,
Are they wearing the ant ones?
yeah. I think I saw them when they were playing on. I
Let
think
me try to
so.
make some call.
I thought they
Hey,
just signed a deal with
well,
Nike,
yes. No, I
or is
think
that
that's going
just
to be
football?
across the board, but that doesn't take into effect to next year, I think. And let's not talk about that mess
Oh,
at the University of Hawaii and the athletic director and all the stuff, and it's a mess. That's all I'll say. And
No,
I think
no.
I think
When,
I
when
think
is when is
talking
it
about
now?
it in like any other way would get me in hot water because at some point I'll say something to offend somebody, but it's unfortunate is all I'll say because we look like even more of a joke, than we do at times, which is sad because pretty proud,
yeah,
proud fan base as a whole. And it's only game in town, all that kind of stuff, and it's been forever. But to see what has happened, it's just sad.
Yeah, I don't know, but doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't sound. Yeah, doesn't feel good. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe they turn the ship around. Let me go be optimistic a little bit and see how it goes. But
we're gonna be what is it?
yeah,
We're not gonna be negative
yeah,
Nancy's.
yes,
We're gonna
ma'am.
be positive Patties.
Is that the new thing now?
I like
I don't
I,
know.
I like
I
to I like
guess.
to try to err on that side as much as possible. But sometimes things
You don't get paid to be
things
positive.
are the way things are. But
Yep.
Royce, can you update us on how Vegas is going, man? How's it like being in Vegas?
It's awesome, man. Like the weather is great here. Today was like 68 degrees, clear skies, not too cold. It's supposed to be that actually it's going to be like this for the next couple days, which is good for Vegas. I actually just got back from Tacoma
Why?
again for the second time
Why?
in
Why?
30 years, 25
When
years.
we went there a month ago, you're like, I don't need to go back to Tacoma anytime soon.
I know, I know. But this time I went with track
Hmm.
people, cross country people. So we actually went inside the house.
And Royce is speaking of the track house at University of Puget Sound where we both went to school.
Yeah. So it's crazy to be a part of something that's lasted for like almost 30 years now.
And you know what's amazing,
You know,
Royce?
and it started,
I love how like it's so cool that you could be a part of it, right? Because you didn't run track.
I didn't run track at all. In fact, half of the people in the house in the beginning didn't run track. It was a nice way to get a house.
Yeah. Did you find the burrito I hid downstairs 25 years ago?
I did not find the burrito you hit
Oh,
downstairs,
it was
but
a bean burrito from Taco Bell. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I bet you it's still in the
Mm,
original
yes, sir.
It's
package
probably a
and the
rock right now.
form.
Yes,
Actually, I
sir.
might have mistaken it for
Yes,
something.
sir.
But dude, it's the longest running theme house. Outhouse isn't there anymore.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
gone.
too bad. Well, we did get in a lot. We got in a lot of trouble the year I lived in that house.
Of course, you got in a lot of trouble.
We
You were there.
we had to get in front of the disciplinary board, and I don't know. It was kind of crazy.
I'm not even gonna ask what you
It's
did.
kind of crazy. I did nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. It was fun
It
though.
was worth it.
Yeah,
That was a good night.
It was
a
worth
good
it.
night. It was kind of worth it. You're right.
yeah. But so this time, when I went to Tacoma, it was cold, it was rainy, it was windy, it was miserable.
Yeah, yeah.
It was horrible. I don't know how we survived out
Well,
there.
Taco Bell and Seattle Supersonic basketball. So that was about it. Uh,
That is probably
but
about
you know,
it.
you really buried the lead here when you talked about Vegas. Let's be real. It ain't the weather in Vegas, buddy. You know, it's the fact that gambling was wide open to us once you moved there.
Uh,
Let's be real.
it definitely has gotten me to pay more attention again.
Uh,
Which is, I don't know if that's good or
oh
bad
no,
yet.
it's
I've got to
fabulous.
figure
How
it
much did you miss it when you were in Tacoma?
out. Yeah, definitely. No, I missed it. I mean, every Saturday and Sunday, if I'm not in front of my TV with my mobile app open,
Yes.
something's
Yes.
wrong.
And how dare you blame me? Sometime in the last month, it's all my fault that you don't have Sundays and Saturdays anymore. How dare you blame my texts that come in every 5 minutes? Hey, Royce, what do
I
you
was
think about
trying to
this,
keep it-
Royce? Hey, Royce, what do you think about this?
I was so good at trying to keep it just to Sundays, and then Saturdays started creeping in, and now I'm over.
Well,
But
you know, look, you're just letting your true self, show, and you're enjoying life, and life is good, I don't think the three of us, fortunately, can say life isn't good. Like everything's going well. College football playoff is on its way. There's been some action with that. Bumble sitting back there in his Georgia t-shirt there. For those of you that can't see this, Bumble, backup quarterback, 4-star recruit, got a little knocked around. The
Concussed.
last game. Should be recovered by now. How you feeling about your chances about them dogs when they get to play their first game in the new year?
I don't know what y'all talking about. We still gonna take it.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
We still gonna take it.
well, not if I bet
So-
on Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you stay away.
So we have
You stay
this
away.
thing where Royce and I are not, especially Royce, is not allowed to bet on the Atlanta Falcons or the Georgia Bulldogs.
At all.
I mean, but
Don't
but
you
what an
do
up
it.
and down year for the Bulldogs. So up and down, but they are where they should
Yeah,
be,
for
which
sure.
is in the playoffs with a chance to win it all.
Yeah.
So the backup is a starter now.
Yeah, there's no way
Yeah, I
Beck's
think-
coming back.
Yeah.
There's just no way. That injury, there's no way.
They just said they said today he's out getting opinions for surgery.
Yeah, honestly, I think they have a better shot to win with the backup than they do with Ben.
Well, he was just having such a rough year. You could see the crisis,
Yeah, he was-
crisis of confidence at some point in time. You could see it in his face,
yeah,
his body language.
once you lose confidence in anything, that's a bad
that
sign.
Kentucky game, man, you don't watch that game. You watch his body language change from the first quarter to the end, man. That was rough. Felt bad for the kid. The kid came in with a lot of high praise, high expectations, but playing with expectations is a real thing, and everyone, not everyone survives that.
Nope.
I think for him, he just he was overthinking a lot, and he already admitted to it where he wasn't playing like himself because he was thinking
Yes,
about all of those
100%.
outside things. So,
Yep.
but at the end of the day, I still think he's a really good quarterback. It's just he choked a little bit. Now, on the other
Hey,
hand,
we're
Kirk Cousins
going
is
there.
not a really
Hey,
good quarterback.
let's go
and he
there.
sucks. So,
The $300 million man. I mean,
man, I need to know his
Yeah.
financial advisor because
you know what? He
it
has-
is
He's put up
crazy.
numbers.
he has the
Like,
right formula to stay in the league, stay in the starter, stay relevant. Not be a winner. I'm just saying stay relevant. And to get paid, timing is right. If Matt Stafford never went to the Rams, we'd be saying this stuff about Matt Stafford.
You know what's crazy? my neighbor is a huge what do you call that, Vikings fan. So he was a huge Kirk Cousins fan. So when Kirk Cousins came over to the Falcons, he's like, "Hey, you guys got a good one. However, just don't fall for the Kurt, the what is it?
Yep, the
Kurt October
Kurtober.
or something like that.
Yeah,
Kurt
yeah.
Kurtober.
It's
Yeah,
real.
it's
It's
real.
real.
It's real.
Yep.
Killed it in October and then just
So
stunk it up in
let me talk
November
about
and
back, right?
December.
Play with
Just
expectations, play with pressure. It's not for everybody.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, we're
yeah,
gonna say the same stuff with Dak
yeah.
Prescott in about 5 years. He's gonna have $400 million in the bank and be like, what does he have to show for it? Stats. That's it.
He might have $400 million in the bank right now.
But you know,
Pretty much,
you
yeah.
can't hate on these guys
Pretty
making
much.
money, right? Good for them, right? Go get it. It's theirs. Like, go get it.
Not at all. He gave us, he gave
Yep.
us a little excitement. He went from,
Yep.
This cornball to trap to
Yep.
I don't know where
It's
I'm at.
entertaining.
So it's
And then,
I mean,
we found out
it's
about
cool.
him and his love
You
for
know?
Carrie Underwood and, pregame. And, it is what it is. Once that came out.
It was all
once
downhill
came
after that
out,
one.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that. What is
That's
that
what it
about?
was. They did like you know how they do like little questions before they leave
Yeah.
practice or whatever. They were they were talking about something and he named or their crush or something like that. I think was it the crush?
I think it was like
Or the favorite
no,
singer? I
it
forget
was
what
like
it was,
favorite
but he
singer
said Carrie
pregame.
Underwood.
What's in your beats in the pregame? And he's like Carrie Underwood.
No, that is
Something like that, yeah.
unexpected.
Yeah, quite interesting. And it was downhill after that.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean it's been an interesting season
Gentlemen,
for
it's a
everyone,
new
but
age.
I mean, and when
especially
you look at the Falcons, right, in
yeah.
every facet of the game, they struggled in different ways. I mean, it really is like new staff, new everything. Like, kind of expected a little bit. Like, you would love for it to just be smooth sailing, but new coach, new play caller, never
Yeah.
called plays before. We talked about this at the beginning of the year. You could see the inexperience with play calling. Like, there's just stuff, right? It's a learning curve for
Yeah,
everybody.
for sure.
It's just, why did you bring this guy
Yeah.
in if you're gonna draft Penix? Like, well, what was the thought process there?
Yeah.
He was going to be the bridge.
I have no idea. I think to be honest, the way that they do things in that front office is just different than everybody else. I don't think they once they got Kirk Cousins, I don't think they expected to draft Penix. I think what
And
happened
he was
was they
there.
were sitting there at
Yeah, he
eight
was there.
and Penix was there. And he was like, "Oh, he's the
Yeah,
highest guy on our board. We're taking him." And then they kind of screwed a whole bunch of people because if you look at it, the domino effect of some of these teams that needed a
yeah,
quarterback still suck.
yeah.
Raiders. So,
Because the reports were the Raiders were gonna take
I
him.
mean,
The Raiders were gonna
They
take
got
him. Yeah,
Minshew.
yeah,
They got
yeah.
Minshew
So
magic.
but you know what?
yeah, okay.
Shador Sanders in silver and black. That's gonna be entertaining as hell next year.
They're talking about
That
that
is gonna
already.
be entertaining as
Mm,
hell next
Yeah.
year.
yeah, yeah. So, but I mean, if you look at how the Falcons did it too, they did it the year
Correct.
before when we didn't
Correct.
need a running
Correct.
back and we took Bijan.
So that's
So
to your, but that's
it's
to your point.
you get talent for the next 4 years, five
Yeah.
years for cheap. So I mean, now granted, have our since what is his name? What was our GM before this guy? I forgot
Dimitrov.
his name. The white guy
Dimitrov.
did
Dimitrov.
his last name started,
Yep.
huh? Dimitrov.
He did.
I thought he
He
did a
did.
good job at drafting. I think they screwed us. I think they screwed us when they did the Julio Jones and then the Matt Ryan deal because
Yeah.
then we were screwed with Cap. But when you look at this new regime when they're drafting, it's a little sketchy because if you look at all the players we could have drafted, and then you're just like, what are we doing
Yeah.
here? We could have had Penny Sewell. Like,
I
do you
mean,
know what our
there's
line
definitely
would be right
drawbacks
now?
to
We'd
best
be
man available
crazy.
at the time that you pick. There's definitely drawbacks, and I think the Falcons are kind of the poster child for that. And and then the Matt Ryan, Julio Jones
Oh
thing, you
yeah,
have no choice, right? Like, you're a Super Bowl team, obviously, and you were just
yeah,
bad coaching away from
yeah,
winning a Super Bowl. It was bad coaching. Like, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
yep,
So, like, and then it's like,
yep. So
well,
you just had to bring
but
up that
that's the
Super
point,
Bowl.
right? It's
It
like
was,
it's
it
like being a
was,
Giants fan. I will feed still off of the two Super Bowls from the Patriots, even though it was like 15 years ago. Because only one team can win.
yeah,
It is what it is. And the Giants just screwed up. We screwed up in
yeah,
every way. So now we'll get the second pick with a new GM, probably the new coach. Start all over. See if you do it right this time.
See, I'm glad I don't have
Yeah.
to know what
Well,
that's
I
like.
mean,
My franchise is amazing.
Yeah, the Bears. They're so good.
They're really good.
you
Talk
know,
about, talk about having talent, but just
yeah.
can't make it happen. The Bears.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Yeah,
I know
Falcons
I
and
know how
Bears.
that
Those are
feels
the
this
two
year for
teams.
sure.
You look at it, so much talent, and just it's not showing on the field.
It's crazy. I think a waste of a pick that we did was Kyle Pitts.
No.
The guy is a he's talented. He's talented, but what does he give us? Like
Yeah,
I was happy when we had Hayden
and there's
Hurst.
two OCs now that haven't found a way to make him be the impact player he probably should be able to be.
Yep. So, well, I mean, if you watch the film, I don't know how much you got. Like, I will literally sit there and I will record it and then I'll go back and I'll watch it. And then if you actually see the effort sometimes on the plays when he knows he's not getting the ball, it is treacherous to watch. So it's like, why even
It
get this guy
doesn't
the
make you
ball if
want.
he's
It
not even
doesn't
going to
make
go
you
down
want
the
to
field and
design
block?
stuff for him and highlight him. It just doesn't.
Yeah. So, and then he doesn't run his routes full speed if he's not getting the ball, if he's a decoy. So it's like,
Such a waste of talent because
it's
that is a
crazy.
tremendous
It's,
amount of talent in that body of his.
yeah. I mean, when he does get the ball, he can make some stuff happen, but it's just, yeah, it is what it is. I mean,
I think so.
we'll be all right, hopefully. I love our coach. I love Raheem Morris. I think we should have hired him last year. I mean, when we had him before Arthur Smith, we should have hired him at that time. But you know, nah. But he's a good guy. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we do it. Oh, but I did want to get you
Yes.
guys' thoughts on the big news in college football. Please tell me you guys heard the
Are we
biggest
talking about
news
Belichick being
in
head
college
coach
football.
at UNC?
Oh, that's
No,
what
screw that.
I,
That's not.
That's gonna be fun. That's
That's
gonna
gonna
be
be
really fun to
interesting.
watch. It really will be.
That is
Oh
gonna be an interesting situation. Him trying to figure out how the
no, but it's
NCAA
Bill.
works and
He
all
don't give
that
a fuck
stuff.
about it and say
So
where he's just gonna do it the way he wants
that's
to
what I'm saying.
and screw it. Screw it.
Hmm. Yeah. So
He's a
we'll
grumpy old
see.
man. He'll just do whatever he
No.
wants.
The
Oh
injunction that was
yeah, you talking
laid.
about the $4.8 billion thing?
No.
Oh,
The JUCO
oh, the one about
yeah.
like how JUCO years don't count.
So
don't count.
everybody,
So basically, the quarterback for God, what
I can't
school
think
is
of it
that?
now. Yeah,
Piva, I think is his
something
name
like that.
or something like that. Anyways, he
wait,
petitioned or sued the
you're talking
NCAA
about
to
the
get an
Vandy
extra year
quarterback,
of
right? Pavia?
eligibility.
Yeah, Pavia. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He came from
there you
New
go. Yeah,
Mexico
yeah, yeah,
State,
yeah,
went over with the coach to Vandy,
yeah,
right? But before he went to New Mexico State,
yeah. So he only got to play 1 year, but he was in JUCO for 2 years. So he petitioned or sued to try and get the extra years because he felt the antitrust. The judge sided with him and said yes, so he gets an extra year of eligibility for next year. But now the trickle down effect is that ruling could potentially say
correct,
any JUCO
correct.
player, their clock doesn't start until they
Three
actually play
letters,
for 4 year college.
NIL. And you know what? It's great. You know what that's really good for if that becomes a real rule? It becomes a
Oh,
great thing for small schools like University of Hawaii and all these mid majors because notoriously they have to go JUCO route to get these guys. And you know if they find the right one, maybe UH can hold on for a couple years before they move on and cash in elsewhere. You know, the couple of years after, right? But it gives some of those other guys a chance,
yeah.
really. So I'm okay with
Yeah.
that.
I think it, yeah, I think the way that things
Yep.
has happened, especially with the portal, it's a great thing because right now the kids that are getting the short end of the stick is the high school kids. Because what's happening is all those kids that, been at a Division 1 school for like 2 years, a coach is gonna go and grab that kid because they know the ropes. They're not going to go and grab like a little 2 star and be like, yeah, we want you on our team. You can be a walk on or whatever the case may be. So I think it'd be good. It also gives them that 2 years of school where towards the end of their college years, they don't have to really focus too much on education. They can just focus on their development and try and get to the league if that's what they want to do. So There's a lot of positives to it, and I think it also opens up the market for more community colleges around the U.S. to be able to open back up their football. Like here in
What
Arizona,
happened?
we don't have
We used to
JUCO
have a lot
Oh,
football.
of
really?
them.
We used to have it. Uh,
Yeah.
they used to have it, but what happened was the
Mm,
state decided they didn't want to
mm.
fund it because they were losing money. So they still have JUCO like
Football's
basketball
expensive
and
though. Football's
baseball and soccer
expensive.
and things like
Yeah.
that, but football is expensive. So they did away with it. So instead, here
Mm,
they have what they call clubs. So you have to be enrolled in a junior college, and then you can play on the club. And there's like 6 or 7 teams that they pretty much play each other, or they play out of state, or whatever the case may be. But that's the JUCO that they have here, but it's not an official like team. You know what I mean? So hopefully with that ruling, it actually bring it back because then you can actually have way more kids going to the community colleges. That means more revenue for the schools as well, and then it gives kids
Is
more
that
opportunities.
is that
So,
like Bishop Sycamore?
um, oh no, Bishop
that's
Sycamore is just
ridiculous.
goodness gracious. That is just the straight scam artist guy, just nuts. But to be completely honest, some of them are like that. I'm not
Mm.
gonna lie to you guys. There's I forget the name of it. There's a club team that was recruiting a kid from Kainakee. And I would ask around like, "Hey, did you guys ever hear about this school?" And then they were like, because they did the whole signing and things of that nature at Kainakee. And I was like, "Oh, he's coming to Arizona?" And then I was like, "I never heard of that school before." So then I asked a couple coaches, couple of the basketball coaches, and they're like, "Yeah, that's not a school. That's like a club where they play intramural teams, and then they have the kids come up and live, and then the kids have to pay for their housing, and they can go to school if they want, but they don't have to go to school, and they have to pay the coaches and everything like that. So you're paying like a fee to play on the team,
Mm,
and the coaches are pocketing
Wow.
all that money. So I was just like, I hope for a fact that you guys are not letting that kid come
wow.
up here for that
That's
because I mean the coaches are saying we're going to get you recruited, but a lot of those kids are literally not getting
Wow.
recruited. So
I mean, so add to that
yeah,
conversation that court judgment where they'll approve the settlement. You know what I was mentioning about that I think it was $4.8 billion that in that ruling that came down that schools can pay athletes is and athletes dating back to I think the late 2010s. I believe it's like 2016 or 18. I
yeah,
could be wrong what the date is, but the athletes that played during that time can go and file and try to get some money that they deservingly should get. And to that point of like not counting JC years as far as equality goes in that sense, like what is the harm of like not counting those 2 years? We just went through this cycle of COVID years and people playing 7 years. So worst case, someone's going to play 6 years. You know, and when you look at that, okay, 7 years would be the worst case scenario because if they get a redshirt year. But I mean, we just went through that. How did that harm the system that we have these 7 year guys? I mean, look at a guy like Bo Nix who played tonight. Like Bo Nix is not the quarterback he is in pro football if he didn't play all those many years in the NCAA. He's just not. He's not as finished a product. And did he hurt Oregon being there that whole
yeah.
time? I think Oregon's just fine. Uh, you know, Dylan is in the same. Dylan Gabriel's in that same boat. Right,
He played like 7 years.
right,
What is this?
right. And he's
6 or 7
benefiting from it,
years that
and
he's
I
played.
think he's
So
better for it. And he's gonna have some type of opportunity next year in the NFL, and I think it's great. And again, is Oregon worse off for it? No, because Oregon would just plug and play because they got Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil would take care. Uncle Phil's gonna find the next
yeah,
quarterback, whether it's a freshman or another transfer.
yeah. I just don't like. I don't like the way that it's the NIL is all set up. Like it's the demands that the kids can do. It takes the love from the game. It takes the learning and the grind from the game because now you're sitting here just you're basically professional already. You know what I mean? It's you're going to school, of course, but and you should get paid for your likeness or whatever the case may be. But I seen this crazy demand that this kid he was in the transfer portal and he's like, I want 10 tickets and a personal driver for my family to games. I need a personal driver for me on campus, a black Cadillac Escalade. You also need to pay me, I think it was $700,000 immediately. And I'm just like, that's crazy to even have any crazy demands like that, you know? But it is what it is. If someone is going to pay, it's just like if you learn marketing, where they talk about there's a market for everything as
If you
long as
don't
someone is
ask,
willing to
if
pay.
you don't ask, you're not gonna
If
get,
there's a market for
right?
you,
Yep.
If you don't ask, you're not gonna get,
Yep.
and that's on that
yeah.
coach. If there's a
So,
coach out there that wants to placate a player with those kind of demands, that's on that guy.
yep. So
Yeah.
it's like if you can get it,
Yeah.
get it. You know what I mean? So, but at the same time,
Would you want it?
it takes away
Would you
from
want? Would you want a
I
player like
think
that on your
the
team?
college game. To be honest, no.
Me neither.
Just
Yeah.
You know what? You guys might
to
be
be
too old
honest, like
school, man.
if
No,
I'm not, no, no,
I'm
no,
all
no,
for
no,
these guys getting
no.
paid.
Like, trust me,
I'm all for all this stuff.
when it comes to that, like
Yes.
I want them to get what they can, but at the same time, at what cost to your team? What cost? I mean, because then you create what they call is the have and have nots. That's why I think it's BYU. I love the way that they do it, where they're just like everybody across the board is getting the same. So, and now granted, you're gonna have like star players, and some players do this, some players do that, but at least everybody is getting something. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, look
So
at the cautionary
I
tales
don't
on
know,
your team,
but
right? You look at your fourth string quarterback. All this
yeah,
hoopla, hubbub, all this stuff, and then a lawsuit about Miami not giving him what he was supposed to get. So then he goes to Arizona State, and he's really
yep,
nothing special there. And then he jumps ship there, and he ends up at Georgia, and he's not a starter. He's not second string, and we joked,
nope,
and you joked. I think he's
nope,
probably fourth string on his team, and we don't hear his name anymore.
yeah,
Cautionary
you
tale
don't.
of NIL and how it could go wrong.
There's a lot of those stories, but it's like some of the kids, I don't blame them because they're thinking, hey, I got to get as much money as I possibly can because the league is not promised to me. So I 100% understand why they want to why they want to join or go into the portal, because of course you want to shop yourself and see what someone's going to offer
Plus,
you.
maybe
You know
your
what I mean?
family
So
too. Maybe your family needs money.
Yeah, I mean,
It's the real thing.
I've heard
yeah,
stories. I've heard stories about players that are starters at schools where they're kind of the big fish in a small pond, and a big school said, "Hey, let's take some. I'll offer you this to be on our team, but you're not going to be a starter, but you're going to be a contributor in a certain way." And the amount of money the kid was offered to do that was like no way where he was coming from could that school compete. So full blessing of like,
yep,
hey, you feel like you got to take care of your family, go. Right? It is what it is. Who's gonna
yep,
like? Who is anybody to stand in the way of a kid thinking this might give my family a head start? And it won't hurt. It
yep. You gotta make the
because the
best
kid's
decision
pro
for you. You know
prospects
what I
won't
mean?
change.
So
It won't change. It'll be the same. And so you get to
yep,
get the best of both worlds, and so be it. I mean, it is what it is. We got
sure,
stories coming out even here of players kind of demanding, and it's kind of funny to hear it, right? But players here demanding six figures.
yeah.
Well,
Where are we gonna get
right,
those six
and
figures, people?
to like piggyback on the hoopla and the drama that's happening in the department, like. Yeah, I mean, with all that drama that happened in the department, a huge donor took all his money and said, "No way, I'm not supporting the program anymore," and he was funding a big amount of the NIL fund at UH.
No.
Yeah. Well, that you hear that story about a lot of colleges where people are pulling their money like
Yep.
this is out of hand already. So,
No.
but that's why Oregon will always be
They
competing
got that Nike
because
Yeah,
money.
that man wants his shit. Yep,
until the
he wants a chip.
NCAA actually creates rules where you have to disclose, because they don't have to disclose yet. The Ohio State
Yep.
$20 million thing just got out there. They didn't have to disclose it, bro.
Yep.
University of Oregon, it ain't $20 million because QB1 getting this much.
Oh,
So, you know,
yeah.
they're throwing way more money out there than that money, than
Yeah.
that dollar amount. Yeah,
There's a lot of money out there in college football.
and it's
So,
good. But
It's yeah,
I'm
it's
glad the
pretty
players get to
gnarly, pretty
participate.
gnarly.
I would love to see the non-revenue sports. Some of those athletes get to benefit in some way and not just get left behind because that will become an issue very quickly. In sports like golf or sports like swimming or whatever, or even volleyball, like they're not high revenue sports. So how much do they get? And it's like
Yeah.
you want to talk about have or have
I,
nots, where you'll get have or have nots on the same campus, not just on the same team. And at some point,
Yep.
that's going to be probably a problem when you're talking about 18 to 22-year-olds. Yeah, the envy and the jealousy and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to be positive, we'll say.
Yeah. I think that the when I was talking to one of my friends, he's like, the hard part about this whole situation is you literally have to recruit your own players. As soon as like right when your season is
yeah,
in, you got to start having those
yeah.
conversations like, "Hey, this is what we're able to offer you.
Yeah, who's staying?
What can we
Who's
work
staying?
out?"
Always be
And I'm
selling.
like,
Yeah.
"It's yeah,
Yeah, is it?
it's crazy. It is crazy." And it's the junk part too is like you hear horror stories about this month where you got these playoff games and then players have to decide if they're going to stay with their team or jump in the portal,
The
and some people
backups.
have to
The
jump in the
backups got to
portal.
jump in.
So
I mean, the backups.
it's
But
crazy.
The Texas.
No, like
Yeah,
my
yeah,
my old player, the starter left,
right.
so he's
But
starting in the bowl game, but he's like,
correct.
I need to put
But
my
what
name
I
in
think the
there.
more important,
So
and not to say he's not important, but the playoff teams, the backups in the playoff,
yeah, oh
the
yeah,
backups in the playoff
yep,
teams, like that's a real
yep,
problem because I mean
yep,
Texas is going to be case in point. If Quinn Ewers doesn't go pro next year, like what happens in that scenario? Like now Quinn Ewers, they're always, and it's so funny how we
hmm
all assume that Quinn is the one that's going to go because of the last name of the other kid. Like it's a,
Yeah.
uh,
Last name is that.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm I'm gonna tell you this.
oh
I'm
no,
doing a
not
hot
another hot
take.
take.
Yours is not going to the NFL this year because
He
he didn't have
destroyed
the
his
greatest
stock.
year that he thought he was gonna have.
His
He's going to
draft
Oregon.
Wow.
stock is down. So yeah,
I'm calling
I
it.
mean,
He's going to
wouldn't he
Oregon.
be target number one? Right? To be
Yep.
let's just
I
slide
just
him
have a
in and
feeling
let's
that's where
go.
he's going to end up.
Right? 100%. But
Yep.
it's funny how we're not saying,
I
oh,
just
Arch
have a
Manning's going to
feeling.
go somewhere else. It's always Ewers, you're gone.
Oh no,
Never mind being
mm,
undefeated. Never.
no. I think if Arch was to leave, it would be a shit show down there with all the fans that backed him
That's
and all
correct.
the donors
That's
that
correct.
backed him. It would be
That's
a shit
correct.
show down there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I guarantee you they're having that talk like, hey,
Yeah.
we need to know what you're gonna do after the season. Are you gonna go to the NFL or you can be backup
But
next year if
see,
you're gonna
and
stay.
that's what I mean by it's so crappy, right? Because they're in the playoffs, they're trying to win a national title, and they're dealing with this behind the scenes. They're dealing with all this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a tough situation, man. I would not want to be coaching college football right now, or any college sport, to be honest, because it goes along in all of them, especially when kids now can just, you know what?
yeah.
I don't like it here. I'm jumping the portal, which I believe they should have that option. You know what I mean? If another team is willing to take them, I truly believe that they should have that option. But it has gotten out of hand for sure. Where it's like, before I liked the where you had to sit for a little bit, you know what I mean? But I get it. If a coach can leave at any time, a player
So
should be
like,
able to
look
leave
at
at
all the
any time
headlines
Yeah.
too.
coming out
So
about Colorado. What if Prime gets offered by the Raiders after they draft Shador? You think he goes, or does he stay? Because he's making a lot of commitments
um
to a lot of kids in this last week.
I don't think he
You
I
think
don't
he'll
think
do
he
this thing? He'll
goes.
do the
I think
thing,
he
the quote
stays.
unquote right thing, as people would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he'll
Hmm.
but I think he stays. But you do remember where he kept
Hmm.
saying when he was at Jackson
Hmm.
State, I ain't going
Correct.
nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. And then he came back and said, the things that I'm
Hmm.
trying to do, I can't
Hmm.
do it at a
So
HBCU.
what would be the excuse
So,
next,
I
right?
mean,
Things I want to do, I can't do at a Division I college.
With all this money.
I need to go pro again.
I don't know. I truly think he likes having total control And if he goes
Yeah,
to an
he
NFL
won't
team,
have it.
he doesn't have total
Not at a
control.
place like the Raiders, especially. Yeah,
Yeah. He won't have total control because you have to answer to the GM, you have to answer to the owner. But at what you call it, you only
president,
got to answer to
president.
the president who doesn't really bother you and the AD. And as far as how you're running your team, it's completely on you. But when it comes to that football team, it's pretty
Yeah,
much that GM that's like,
and let's be
nah,
on,
this is the
and let's
route
be
we're
honest,
going.
right?
You don't even
For Colorado, if Deion leaves, there's no replacing Deion. There's no way to one up
true.
having Deion there. There's no way.
Yeah, true. So you already know what's going to happen. Colorado's going to offer him the biggest bag ever.
100%.
Like, oh, the NFL is offering you
Yeah.
this? Okay, all right, let's double that. And you know the donors will get behind it because they just been booming this year. So, I mean,
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh,
That was a good visit, Bubble. Like that was good. That's good time and segment for you. We always talk about, we try to do segments.
yeah,
People don't notice we're talking about these things in all our quote unquote planning that happens. A few minutes before every show.
yeah.
But right, of course you do.
I do have a hot take though.
You've already given us many
You ready
of
for
them
my hot
last
take?
week, so go for it.
Ready. Yeah, ready.
So we all know I went on a trip, right?
Mm,
Went to go see Georgia
what a
play
game!
Georgia Tech,
What a game, though.
and the
Mm,
Falcons
Yep.
play the Chargers, and the Hawks
you went to two.
play the
Oh,
You did
Nats.
nice.
one. Okay. Okay.
No, I just did one. I only went one. Yeah, we decided not to go to the second one because we were tired. Anyways, um, so we go to Georgia, hometown, and
Yes, you
was
were.
excited. Why? Why? I don't know if it's just me, but the service that you get at restaurants there, not up to par.
Can I
Not up to
can I
par.
piggyback
Like
on that one
people
a
like
little bit? Majority of restaurants you go to right
yeah.
now, their service is shit.
Here in Arizona, we don't really have a problem with service. That's the crazy thing. But in like it was a 180. And we were sitting there, just put it this way.
Mm,
We went to Waffle House. Okay.
it's
Now we're
Waffle
not
House.
expecting any
Yeah.
great service, but we went to Waffle House. All right. And old boy was just like, what you want? Straight like that. And then I tell him, and he just goes, all right, walks away.
Wow.
All right, hold on. Not done yet. Not done yet. So we go to another restaurant. Same thing. Now this is a more fancier restaurant, you know? Guy walks up and he's just like, yeah, can I help y'all? What do y'all want? What y'all want to eat? And I'm just like, what's good here? And he was just like, man, I don't know. I mean, I like the chicken. And I'm just like, so you don't have a go-to dish that you eat here? Like on your lunch break? And he's just like, man, I ain't even trying to have all that. And I was just like,
Wow.
wait,
Wow.
word? I was like, word?
Wow.
Okay. Now, my auntie, they came and had dinner with us at that place. They showed up and we're like sitting there talking or whatever. Over time, I guess the guy just needed to warm up because it got better. But I asked my auntie, I go, hey, did you notice that the service here is just not the greatest? And then she's just like, service has been fine. I was just like, I think you guys have just seen this service and you guys are used to it because this is just trash. Now, this is the kicker.
Mm, mm,
Thanksgiving. We're there
mm.
and we're going to have Thanksgiving dinner. We're like, you know what? We're not with our family, so let's treat ourselves. So we decide to go, and I don't want to say the name on
Yeah.
here just in case, but we decide to go
Mm,
to
mm,
CR.
mm,
You can think of it.
mm,
Okay.
mm.
There's a lot of places
Whole lot of
named
cows
CR, but
there.
we're just going to say
Yeah.
yes. Okay.
Mm.
So we go, very expensive. We sit down. The lady asked us, what are we having? I said, I'm not too sure yet. And then she goes, what do you guys want to drink? And I was just like, can I get two waters and an Arnold Palmer? Cool.
Ay.
30 minutes later, she comes
Wow.
back. And I'm like, yeah, you got those drinks? Okay, I got your drinks. She
Ay.
brought bread, but we didn't have our drinks. So then, 10 minutes later, we get our drinks to go with the bread that she brought. And then she finally takes our order. Mind you, I'm okay. The ambiance is good. We're chilling. Me and my wife, we're just having a chit chat, joking. We notice other people sitting down. Lady comes. She finally takes our order. She goes back. Another guy comes. He refills our drinks or whatever. It was like, okay, cool. We're on a good spot. 45 minutes later, everybody that was around us that came in after us, they all got their food and their appetizers. We haven't even got our salad yet. So I'm like, okay. So then our waitress comes back and she looks at our table and she's like, how's everything going? I was just like, it's going good. Did y'all run out of salad? And she's just like, they didn't bring y'all salad yet. No, ma'am. We didn't get our salad yet. She was like, okay, cool. She leaves. 10 minutes later, she comes back. She looks at our table. She looks at me. And I just shrug my shoulders like, are we eating today? So she goes back. She gets our salad. She brings it out. Cool. All right, happy. Me and my wife, we're still chilling, having fun, eating our salad. We finish the salad. Turn around. We see the people next to us. They have all of their desserts and chilling. And I'm just like, all right. Mind you, this is 2 hours in now. 2 hours in. They finally, after we finish our salad, about 20 minutes later, they bring out food. Not our food, wrong food. Now, you guys know me. Do I eat seafood?
No.
That's a
Tell me why they
big,
brought
fat
shrimp
negative.
and lobster. And my wife doesn't even eat that stuff. So they brought that and they were like, what's wrong? And I was like, that's not what we ordered. I don't eat seafood. And then she goes, wait, what did you order? And I was just like, wow. So then they go back and then they bring back out the food. And this is like almost closing time. So we've been there, mind
Oh
you,
my
for
God.
2.5 hours at this time. So they bring out the food. And me, I've been working on my patience, okay? Because I would have lost my shit before, but I've been working on my patience. But this is Thanksgiving, and the whole reason why we went there is because my wife likes a certain thing that they make. So that's the reason why we went there. So tell me why, when they finally brought out our food, the thing that we went there for, the favorite thing that my wife likes, they don't tell us. They bring it out and they're just like, oh, here goes your food. And I'm like, hey, we're missing, what is it? What is it called? Spinach
Yeah.
cream spinach. And then he goes, oh, my man. Oh, I'm sorry. We ran out. I was like, come again and say what? Come again and say what? And I was like, nah. Then he goes, is there something else I can get y'all? I was like, you can go in the back and you can make it. Like, I know y'all is probably just cleaning the kitchen and y'all don't want to make it, but you can go in the back and you can make it. He was like, oh, no, but we ran out. I was like, well, you're going to have to get your manager or something. So, long story short, I know I went a little long. The manager comes out. He's like, what do you want us to do? Bro, I dropped the N word.
You don't.
I never use it. I was like, beep, go make the food. And that's what I want. I want what we're going to pay for. And then the guy goes, well, unfortunately, we can't make that because we ran out of it. And I was just like, okay. So we've been here for 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours, sitting here watching everybody who came after us eat that dish. And now that you guys finally got our order correct, you're telling me that you guys aren't going to go back there and make what my wife wanted and what we came here for. And he goes, oh, how can I make this up to you? Like, we can get you something else. We can comp this. We can comp that. I was like, you know what? No, we're not going to eat here. We're not going to eat here. Let me make it right for you. I was like, how can you make it right for me? You already ruined Thanksgiving. I mean, a nice dinner date with my wife. So then me and the guy was going back and forth. And I was like, you know what? Because of my skin tone and your skin tone, I'm not going to get loud. I'm not going to be stereotypical. But this restaurant's trash, and I'm going to write a review. That was the white side of me. Just FYI. Anyways, so then when he said, I'm going to write a review, that's when he said, let me get your address and I will send you a gift card to hopefully try you guys out again. Needless to say, we did not eat there. I ended up eating Taco Bell
you know what,
for
though?
Thanksgiving.
Wow.
You know what, though? That damn beef burrito hits. When you hungry, that damn beef burrito hits.
There's even one that he stashed in Tacoma,
Bro,
apparently.
that thing hits.
Bro,
Ooh, nachos
it's
go
all
grande?
about the nachos.
Woo!
Yes.
Ooh!
Sitting there, I was like, this shit's better than that anyway.
But here's the
And
bigger question.
cheaper.
Here's the
So
big question though. Did you shit your pants that night?
it was the next day. It was the next day. It was the next day for
That is
sure.
getting
100%.
cut.
Not
That's
gonna lie.
gonna get cut.
Yeah.
What? That you shit your pants eating Taco Bell? Everybody knows that's a real thing. Everybody knows that's a real
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. It was, bro. I'm telling you, out of all the places that we ate, there was 2 places that had really good service. All of the rest of them was trash.
Ah,
I was disappointed, and I was ashamed because it was my wife's first time too. So I was
I
just
tell
like,
you
"Oh,
what. I tell you what.
oh." I wish that we could have had Brandy
No,
on the pod so
I
you
don't
guys
need
could
to- I
have
don't
heard
need to see her
her
cry.
story about
I
being
don't
in the
need to see her
hood.
cry. Oh,
No, in the hood. She was in the,
I can only imagine.
bro,
I love it.
in the
I
hood.
love it. It was
It
a
was
great
fun.
trip. It was
I
good to
mean,
see you guys
it was
having
cool.
fun.
It was-
And it was good to see you guys getting out there, just the 2 of you.
Yeah,
With no agenda other
Yeah.
than go watch the games, watch your boys, watch the team. And you know what's so stupid? And this is on me. Okay?
yep.
Like, I don't know why I didn't think of it. It really bugged me after you went. I was like, I don't know why I didn't like call somebody at the Hawks that could have like. No, seriously,
Oh.
I could have easily.
Didn't even
called,
think of that either. That's cool.
On me. Like I knew you were going. It just didn't like.
Yeah,
It didn't ring.
yeah,
But
yeah. No, I knew.
I know, but that's
it's,
my
you know
effort
me,
on
I'm-
offering. You know what I mean?
Whatever.
Like after you left, I was like, shit.
Nah, it's all good,
Yeah.
bro. We had great seats
No, but it's okay.
up in the nosebleeds.
I mean, I like sitting up there.
We were up
You know.
there.
Oh, you up there? Up there?
No,
You
no,
up
no,
there,
no,
up
no,
there.
no, bro. We were like from the top. We were like maybe 5
Did you
rows down up
matriculate?
against
Did
the
you
wall.
matriculate down as the game went on?
Not really. We just chilled up there because there was a lot of people because everybody was there hoping to see Kyrie. So we just chilled.
Yeah.
It was a nice atmosphere. So it was like that was one of the. It wasn't a must go and see. So
It's
we
cheap,
we
right?
bought the
Cheap
tickets
tickets,
that
right?
night. Like I think it was like fucking
Oh, easy.
$100 for both of our
Easy.
tickets or something like that.
Easy.
So it wasn't too bad at all. So and it was only
Which-
because of
which
all
are
the
going
fees that
away,
you had to pay.
by the way.
So
With that new law,
I hope so.
the new
That'd be
law that came
nice.
out, federal law. So it's not
Oh,
necessarily
yeah,
going to
that's
go away. You just
right.
will know what exactly you're paying when you see it on the screen,
yeah.
right? But
Yeah. Yeah. But talk about people selling alcohol on
Well,
the street.
I mean, Royce, we got a story about
Oh,
that,
yeah.
right, Royce?
It's the best
We got a
time.
story about drinking on the sidewalk in
What?
Inglewood. Inglewood.
What?
And also like
Inglewood.
different version of Uber.
Oh yeah, Mexican Uber. Oh, so good.
Different version of Uber.
They be selling tacos and hamburgers out of their front yard, and then they offer you a ride home in a minivan.
I give them thumbs up
I
for
mean, the hospitality.
running a business
Okay,
out there,
so
man.
I take
Yeah.
this back of what I said about service because the service at this place, top notch.
It was the best.
Top
It
notch.
was the best.
I mean, the 20 ounce cans of beer they kept supplying us. Well, now remember, it's 3 Asian guys and 1 white guy standing on a corner in Inglewood, a good hour and a half after the game, so everyone's gone. Mexicans are running away in their hot dog carts, like through the streets as fast as they can because they're done. They're running fast, like they ain't hanging around. They ain't strolling through the street, and the 4 of us
Wow.
are standing there waiting for our lift.
And all the time we had the Uber right at that house.
Oh, that house. And then that whole time, they don't like offer, but we get it. Like, they offered one time way before, but we didn't know what the heck was going on. So they never asked again. But they
it
kept
was-
selling us beer.
So, yeah. I think they made more money off of that than they would have made off of Uber.
Bro, they had a dude on the street while there was cops standing right there, and he's like, what kind of drinks y'all want? Mixed drinks, beers, blah, blah, blah. My man
love
was
it.
mixing
I
the drinks
love it.
on the street.
I love it.
Cooler. Just open
But
up the
street
cooler,
is-
just boom,
but
boom,
that
boom.
street is super busy on
It's
a
crazy.
game day. Like, there's so much going on in that Olympic Park
Yeah.
area where all the stadiums are. Like, there's so much going on. It's so cool. Like, the game day atmosphere
Yep.
is so cool in that area.
Yeah.
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 So
It's
do
pretty
you
gnarly,
recommend
for sure.
visiting Atlanta again?
We're planning on going again, but instead of staying as long as we did, because we were there for like 10 or 11 days. So instead of going, we're literally going to go like the day before the game and leave like either
and
the
go
day of the
and
game
go
or the day
somewhere
after
else.
the game. So we're not going
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be a fast trip. So instead of staying, because we did that only because like the Hawks game was there, then we had the what you call it, and then we got to go to the football Hall of Fame, the College Football Hall of Fame, the aquarium, Coca-Cola
I
World,
mean,
and all
Nice.
the
Royce,
other
it
stuff.
is a
So
fun trip. Like having gone for the same reasons Bumble went to go to sporting events, and it's a really good trip.
yeah, I would
Yeah,
recommend staying down right in that area though. Like
yeah,
if you're gonna go, you stay right
yeah,
downtown
yeah.
because everything is right
And
there.
then you avoid all the traffic and all the crazy things of downtown Atlanta. Yeah,
You just walk from your hotel and like I think our when we did the what was it, the Falcons game, our hotel was like a mile away from the
and
stadium.
walk
So
back.
we Ubered there
Yeah,
because we didn't know how far it was, but then as soon as we knew how far
yeah.
it was after the
Because you
Uber, we
can't
just
get an
walked
Uber
back.
by a stadium anyway. You got to walk a mile
So
out anyway to get an Uber.
nope,
Yeah,
you'll
you
be
got to
sitting
walk
there
out.
waiting forever and a
Like you
day.
just ugh.
And then the
Hmm.
skywalks, those things are amazing, by the way.
Well, we got to
So
make our
yeah.
football trip for next year. I don't know what that's going to be. We got to figure it out. But we got to figure out a way to get Bumble on our football trip. Bumble's missed the last couple of football trips, so.
Go.
That's because you guys go and
Hey,
watch
stop
trash
judging.
teams.
We can go watch Chicago next year, man.
See?
They're gonna be so
What?
good. It's not a trash.
Ooh, if the
Hey, are the
Falcons
Falcons,
play
Oh, there
the
you
are the
go.
Bears
Falcons
next
playing the
year,
Raiders next year? Because then we'll go to that game.
I think they are. But
Oh,
they played in Las Vegas
No,
this year, so they
play
would
Atlanta.
play
that's right.
they
He's
would
playing
play in
last week.
Atlanta. I almost talked Brandy
I'm
into letting me
surprised you
go to
weren't
that.
there.
I didn't feel like it was a Monday night and it's finals week,
You know, Bumble, it's
so
not about the teams you
yeah.
watch. It's about the company, you know? I'm hurt by that. I'm hurt by that comment of, like, we
Oh
watch
yeah.
trash teams, that's why you didn't come. That hurts my soul. That hurts my soul. It
Hey,
hurts my soul.
that's not
Oh,
why.
oh,
Okay, for
oh,
one, that's
oh,
not why.
oh.
However, I do have some good news.
Damn
I might
straight
be
you
coming
are.
to Hawaii in summer.
December? It's now December. A summer.
Summer, he said.
No, summer,
So that means
summer,
Royce is going to come
summer,
home that time in summer,
summer.
too.
I definitely can try. Yeah, I think I might come back in February. So at least.
Better tell me when so I don't plan a trip, okay?
I won't even know when.
Whenever you know, tell me so I don't plan a.
Whenever.
Whenever you know, tell me so I don't plan a trip. Oh, Bumble, we have this thing where when Ethereum wakes back up again, which I think it will, if it does get to the all-time high again, I'm coming to Vegas to hang at Royce's.
Yeah.
So when that happens, you have to come.
You gotta come to
You have
Vegas,
free
man.
flights now. You have free flights for your companion, but I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know.
For my
Fly
companion.
up. No drive up. Fly up.
Yeah,
Okay, but we don't need. Okay, do
but I
that.
like
Do that
driving.
so we don't have to
It's a
Uber.
fast drive.
And then we don't need a hotel though, because Royce has a house.
Yeah, we don't need
You know what I'm
anything.
saying? We don't need anything but a driver. Thank you, sir. So,
I
yeah,
mean, I have a car too.
yeah,
Like.
yeah. But you're not. There's no way I'm letting you operate a vehicle after a few drinks. Oh my God, Royce. Oh my God, Royce.
Touche.
There's no way you're allowed to drive
Touche.
and handle a car at any point if I'm in Vegas.
I mean, we'll definitely Uber if it comes
Yeah.
to that.
And to Royce,
Oh,
you are known for
Houdini.
disappearing.
Like Houdini Hamano, like it's crazy.
Allegedly.
Hey, where did Royce go?
Like, I don't
Let's
know.
go. He's
I don't know
gone.
where that guy went.
Yeah,
We're strapping
he'll
that.
he'll find his way home.
I just forgot I have like a little charger right here on my little. It's like a wireless charger.
Alrighty.
That was good energy,
Well,
guys. That was good stuff. I mean, what did we learn today? What did we learn, Royce? What did you learn today?
I learned that we have a lot of energy if we save it up for like a year.
Yeah, that was pretty lively.
It was lively, and it's been a long time, and we should probably do it every month at least.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, we
I
probably
am
should do it
down
again
for that.
soon, just because there's a lot going on, and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Every month or every 2 months.
two
I don't know.
weeks,
Up to
whatever.
you
Yeah,
guys.
I don't know.
Just let me know.
I mean, Bumble's on vacation. Bumble's on
I might have a
vacation.
drink with
So
you
maybe we
guys.
should hit one right before the end of the calendar year, because I'm sure something funky is going to happen in the crypto world. Yeah,
well, you have the
we got a
playoff
lot
games.
to talk
Yeah,
about.
there you go,
And by
tomorrow.
the way, I'm going to go pretty heavy Notre Dame tomorrow. Seeing them
Uh-oh.
up front and close, like literally at field level, they're not your grandpa's Notre Dame team anymore. That team looks different. That team is big. They're fast.
I have them on my. I have them winning.
They're big. They're
my little
fast. They don't look
picks.
the same. Yeah, I think
Handily. And
Who?
you know who we didn't talk about today?
Well,
The Heisman.
well, your
Oh.
hot take didn't work out. First of all, so I didn't want to bring that up. So that's why I'm bringing it up.
That's true.
But I'm glad.
No, but I'm
he
happy
should have
that
won,
it didn't work out.
right? The right guy. The right
Yeah.
guy won.
He
The
should
right
have
guy won
100%. He should have won.
Oh,
Royce, what you
is
think?
With us. Royce is with us.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of.
Oh.
I don't understand the hype around Genty.
Like, you know, like he has these.
Ain't no Marshall
Right,
Falk.
he has
that's
these
for
runs
sure.
where he just runs in a crowd. Look, when you watch the UH game, he had 2 big runs. After that, there were 2-yard runs and 3-yard runs.
He's getting
He's
stuffed
getting stuffed.
against UH.
You get an open field, breaks 1 tackle, makes a big
I
run.
just
Good for
like-
him. That's awesome. But
I just like how all the fans for Boise or people who don't know football who kept saying, "We've never seen this before. The last time we saw this was Barry." I'm like, did you guys forget
never
about
mind
Melvin Gordon?
Never mind Melvin Gordon. Do you guys remember
Identical.
Marshall Falk? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Reggie
or
Bush.
or better yet, how
Reggie
about
Bush.
Reggie
Yeah.
Bush? And that's not Reggie
That
Bush when you
ridiculous
see him
post I
on
showed
film.
you guys
So-
about them comparing Reggie Bush and Genty. I'm like, are you joking? Like, it's not even
yeah,
close.
no, not the same.
I don't understand it.
Does not pass the eye
just-
But I
test.
will say this
It's-
about Boise
it-
State. They do deserve a lot of credit because their lone loss is a 3-point loss to the number 1 team in the nation. That is pretty impressive.
Hold on. That is not that impressive
but
because
it's
that
still
was at
them.
the
It's
very
still
beginning
Oregon.
of the
They're
season.
9 in the country at that time.
Everyone knows at
Yeah,
the
but they're
beginning
not
of the
in the
year,
country.
Oregon struggles. They have to get their feet under them. However, this is the thing that kills me: how people say Boise is this, Boise is that, Genty is this, Genty is that.
No,
Just
it's-
look at the
so
competition that
I'm
they
not
play.
saying they deserve to win a no
I
national
don't-
title or anything. I'm just saying that we can't really just call them trash because they
Yeah.
did take care of business. Wait, hold on. They took care of business when they had to. They won every game they had to. Right? And the one game they didn't win,
give them
they
that.
barely lost. To a very highly ranked team at the time that just turns out to be the number 1 team in the nation. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's all I'm saying.
I give them that. But would you agree that this has
100%.
ECU written all over
But you
it?
know what? Every NCAA, the thing about when people complain about the tournament or playoffs, whatever, this is the NCAA. They want a mess. They want it messy, but they also
Yeah.
want to show that they gave the little guy a chance. But that's what.
Yeah.
Let
I
him
agree.
lose.
I'm fine
Yeah,
with them.
let him lose.
I'm fine with them being in there. I just hate
they're
listening
stupid. But
to the
that's-
people who don't understand football, who say that they're the fourth
No,
ranked
they're
team
not.
in the nation. No,
They're
they're
the fourth
not.
seed.
They're just the
And
fourth
I
seed.
think, and I think they should change that.
Like,
I
stop
think
it.
I think next year the seeding will go different.
Yeah.
They should just seed like the NCAA basketball tournament, which
Yeah.
is the basketball tournament seeded pretty well when it's all said and done. Just because you're a conference champ doesn't mean
Yeah.
you get a bye,
I agree.
right? So I think they'll work on the
Yeah.
seeding. Like they should reseed. If they seed like this for the first round, they should reseed the second round because Boise doesn't deserve a
Yeah.
first round bye. They don't. They don't
Strength
deserve
of
it.
schedule is just crazy.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
So go Bears.
Go
Yeah.
Bears.
yeah.
The Bears need to be a NCAA team already.
Excuse me.
Bumble, what did you learn today? What did you learn from Royce today?
You know what? I learned that I felt like I was getting pranked. There cannot be a unicorn fart dust.
Oh,
There's no way.
I'm telling you,
There's-
man.
There's
And
no
this is
fucking
probably
way.
why crypto gets a bad reputation.
Because
but
of the ridiculous names of some of these things. Yeah.
yes.
There is. Are you guys messing with me? I'm literally, when my phone turns back on, I'm gonna look that up because that just sounded wild. I was sitting here looking at y'all like, y'all.
No.
Y'all
I would
me
never
right
do
now.
that to you.
You guys
man.
are having a full-on conversation about fart dust. Like,
One of my
come on.
one of my DGen buddies, quote unquote DGen buddies, has been posting a lot about unicorn fart dust. A real
So
thing,
it's a
and
real
it's
thing. Like,
it's
no shit. Like, we're not
all jokes aside. If you had put
it's a
money
real
into this
thing.
thing like a couple days ago, you would be a very rich man right now.
Yeah. But you know, when you go fishing in those waters, you'll get all these other coins.
You can also get
You'll
Haktuad.
get a coin that once it hits a certain number, they just bug out and the rug gets pulled out from under you. So
the best thing to do is if you join one of those
100%.
things is to pull your money out
100%.
fast.
but truthfully, just don't get him.
Always pull out fast.
Ooh.
Always.
Well, you're the 30-second man. That's why you have to pull out so fast.
Whatever you do, just pull out
Wow.
fast.
At 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 6
You're
seconds.
losing a lot of money.
That's
You're losing a lot of
out.
money.
That's out.
Oh, I'm leaving that in, baby. I'm leaving
Like
that
you're
in.
cutting that shit out. Oh my God, Royce.
128, I'm leaving that in.
But you know what?
Ooh.
I mean, the moral of the story is like Ray said and I said, we both don't do altcoins. When we're talking about crypto, as far as like something we're seriously would be investing, we are talking about Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Solana. Like that's all we're talking about in closing. You know, to close up that topic. And you know, we talked about this in the last time we talked. You know, we talked about the two different types of ETFs. And I'll just recap that real quick. One does hold what we call future contracts, so they don't have to buy the coins to run the ETF. But there's the other ones that do. And so that's a powerful force in the crypto market. So it'll be really fun to watch in the next month or so with a pro-crypto government, what that's going to do to that market. But all I learned today, guys, was I'm not eating at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Did I say that? Did I say that?
Canceled.
Oh, cancel culture's dead, guys. You know that. It is over. Come January 20th, cancel culture is dead.
I said CR on purpose.
Oh, I'm dyslexic. Sorry. No way.
Don't worry, I'll cut that too. I'll play some music over it.
Yeah. All right, fellas. That was real. That was awesome.
That is funny.
Good to see you guys in high definition for once.
Except me.
Yeah,
Maybe
man.
next time.
I know this guy.
butt
I'm just
naked.
so
Big
butt
R.
naked on the.
Oh. Why you say big for? All right, Royce.
That's funny.
sign it
All
off.
right.
See you later, guys.
See you.
All right, guys.